Welcome to the Rebuild Procurement Podcast, the number one Allen procurement podcast in the world, where we dive deep into topics to keep procurement people up to date and ahead of their peers. Subscribe on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever you're at. Just go click like, subscribe. Today, we're going to be talking through Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So we're going to go a little of the history, a little of the impact of procurement in those areas, and that's what we'll do. I'm Tom Finn, bringing 15 years on the client side, procurement, finance, and category management experience in large and small cap orgs.
And I'm Alan Veek, a procurement geek on the sell side of our street, and I've assembled a team of superhuman procurement professionals doing managed services at a little company that we call Summit.
Let's get into it. All right, Alan, you want to tee this one up that we have here today?
What did you buy on Friday? First of all, how was your Thanksgiving, Tom? Was it
Thanksgiving? Thanksgiving was always good. Always a family event. So I love Thanksgiving. I think it's my favorite holiday. From like a community family perspective. Yeah, it's just the most people, at least in my family, get together.
That's neat.
Yeah, so it's quite nice. What about yours?
Yeah, mine was the same. I wouldn't call it my favorite, but it was a good one. We always do Steaksgiving, so we've launched the turkey. But this year, again, we had my brother-in-law come down, and he's a traditionalist. We call him a trad, and those of us who do Steaksgiving, we're Novus Ordo in the Catholic pejorative. But yeah, he brought a turkey with him, so we had turkey as well.
Okay.
So it was a lot of fun. Lots
he
of
launched
family home, only missing a daughter.
Oh, yeah. When you launched it, Alan, did you actually put the frozen turkey in the fryer, and then after that it was only steaks? For this thing to shoot up pretty high.
Yeah, no, we did. We just. I still want to smoke a turkey, but again, they're trads, they're traditionalists, so they don't like smoking. It's got to be oven roasted. And it was a good turkey this year, but we still got more of it left.
You always do. No one ever finishes 80 pounds of a turkey.
No kidding.
Yeah. And then I didn't buy a darn thing this go around. I must say that I was a bit reflective. I was like, I was looking at just like reflective. The AirPods. I was like, my wife has a pair. I'm like, maybe I want some of those. I have other ones over the ear, but it's like, okay, it's really $30 cheaper. Do I need it? Right. But I mean, it's just these little things that get you.
Yes, for sure. It's funny.
I didn't
say that. We're going to see you didn't buy it. We're going to debunk a bunch of these myths associated with Black Friday. But the interesting thing is, it sounds like maybe you, Tom, were part of the global resistance and you participated in what's called Buy Nothing Day.
No, not on purpose.
An international day of protest against consumerism. It's been around since 1992. So we'll have other fun facts like that laced in. But do you know when Black Friday kind of officially got its name?
Where?
Well, the first time it was ever used was way back. You got to jump in the way back machine. It had nothing to do with shopping. It had to do with the financial panic of 1869.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's when a couple of Wall Street speculators decided they were going to try and corner the gold market. But that's a whole other story. That was called Black Friday for a long time because a bunch of people lost their shirts. But then you have to go basically another 100 years up into the 1960s. And it's in your hometown where the term really started to be used in earnest. Black Friday described Friday after Thanksgiving when the Army-Navy game played right there in Philly, and it was a traffic snarl. Everybody was headed to Philadelphia into the city to do shopping anyway. So policemen had to work 12 and 15-hour shifts, so they called it Black Friday. But of course, the retailers couldn't stand that. Because they said it sounded negative, it sounded bad. We don't want to scare people away from coming in and doing some shopping. So they decided that they were going to try a few rebranding things, such as Big Friday. Yeah, that never took. And then finally they kind of said, okay, well, Black Friday.
That's how you feel the day after Thanksgiving.
Big Fat Friday. Yeah, Fat Friday. But finally they decided, okay, well, if we can't change the name, we'll at least change the story. So they said, yeah, all throughout the year we run in the red. It's only on Black Friday that we enter into the black in our books, and that's such a lie.
Yeah, that's what I'd always heard too.
That's interesting. Did
Yeah.
you know the Philadelphia origins? You're right there in your own neighborhood.
I had not heard that before. But there was the
Interesting.
Army Navy game. It was always in Philadelphia up until like a few years ago, and it's
Yeah.
now they split it around. It's
Yeah.
super popular in the Philadelphia area, so I can imagine.
And the cops in Philly were like, "Whew, finally."
Yeah, they were a certain breed at that time too. The Philly cops. So if they were sweating it,
If
yeah,
they
it was a
were
tough
sweating
time.
it, yeah, it's bad. So okay, so the whole idea behind Black Friday is you present one or a couple loss leaders that draws people in the store or draws people online, and then basically once you've got their attention and you got them shopping, there are a couple of fun things, psychological things that kind of cause the global phenomenon known as Black Friday. And that's the first is kind of this fear of missing out, scarcity and urgency. Like you got to do it now, and there aren't many of them. So the first is fear of missing out. The second is this interesting thing called competitive arousal, which is once you get somebody competing for something, like in an auction, then you don't stop. You overbid, you overbuy. And you get this thing called shopping momentum. Shopping momentum's a thing. Once you buy the first thing, then you're going to buy the second thing, the third thing, the fourth thing. So good for you. You didn't buy those earbuds, because who knows how much you would have bought after that.
I did walk through
And then,
Target though, so not on Black Friday, but over the weekend.
that's okay.
Still
That's okay. You showed great resolve, not buying anything at all.
I live my life, yeah.
You and your buy nothing day. But the last psychological effect that I found interesting is something I'd recently read about called the endowment effect, and that's basically once you feel like you own something, it's more the item takes on more importance than if you're just looking at it. So this kind of you feel endowed that you own it. So kind of getting something that's scarce, getting something that's on this day only gives you that endowment effect. So you think about these 3 or 4 whammies, psychological whammies. Most shoppers don't stand a chance, and the loss leader brings them in, and then they just buy and they buy and they buy. Do you have any sense for how big Black Friday was last year, 2024, and how big it was expected to be this year?
I do not, but I feel like it would be bigger this year, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's been getting bigger basically since the COVID lockdowns. So pre-COVID we were doing like 7.5 billion. That's in-store only. So you can typically just about double that number. So you get up to something like 15 billion when you include online sales as well as offline sales. But now in 2024, it was about 10 billion online, 10 billion offline. In the stores.
Wow.
2025 is projected to be 12 billion online. So you can
20% growth.
Guess that one day we should see something like $25 billion worth of sales. It's going to be insane. It's a big number. It moves the needle. To put it in perspective in terms of how big that is compared to the average shopping day, it's almost 200% bigger than the average shopping day. And it's even like 150%, upwards of 150% bigger than any shopping day in November or December. So this notion of retail momentum, of buying momentum, is definitely there.
Yeah, that is an incredible thing. I mean, it's I've definitely fallen trapped to it throughout my life, right? When you're like, we have if you can go to like the outlets, or if you have Walmart. I remember seeing, Alan, growing up, when you would watch the news, it was just like people fist fighting. There was always like fist fights at Walmarts. It's just incredible. These, now so much has moved online. That, I mean, I guess there's less fist fights, but I feel like maybe the in-store stuff has gotten even a little crazier.
Yeah, that's right. That's funny because in the research I was doing on Black Friday, the first fist fight was called the Cabbage Patch Riots.
This is a good name.
Before you were even born, Tommy. 1983. I remember the Cabbage Patch doll, and basically, the demand outstripped the supply. So, people just went in and they started completely fighting, and it happened right there in Philly. So Black Friday is a real thing.
What is Jesus?
Right?
Maybe that's why the news I used to watch growing up had all these fist fights. Maybe it's not in Missouri; it's just in the Philadelphia area.
A crowd of 1,000 people turned violent when the doors opened. They trampled one another, knocking over tables and displays. A woman suffered a broken leg, and several others had minor injuries. And across the U.S., they saw customers wielding baseball bats and
Oh my
engaging in
gosh.
fistfights. They'll know we're Christians by our love. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, it's just especially when the years where there was some like extra crazy phenomenons. I'm sure I remember like the Tickle Me Elmo. Remember that Tickle Me Elmo,
Yeah,
Alan? I'm sure there's a story around Tickle Me Elmo, and that was like when
there
eBay came
is.
out. But
It put eBay on the map. They said that there were dolls selling, even though it retailed for $28.99. Dolls were selling for over $1,500 on eBay.
$28.99. It's absurd.
Oh,
Yeah, and then I guess the
so,
other side of it, Alan, the more recent would be Cyber Monday.
that's right.
So you said the '60s was when the term Black Friday came about, but for Cyber Monday, with the internet being more recent, it was 2020 or 2000. So you're saying 20 now,
Yes.
2005,
Mm,
way back when machine. Um, and I think that was essentially something where, as the trend started to increase, you had your Black Friday. It's always, I mean, now we have so many different days, right? There's like, what is Saturday? It's like local Saturday, something Sunday, now Cyber Monday. It's kind
yes.
of like a
Yeah.
rebranded
Giving
long
Tuesday.
weekend.
There's
Yeah, Giving
exactly.
Tuesday. Yeah, now that you've spent all of your money, where are you going to give it? Um, but yeah, Small Business Saturday, I think, is the one, and Cyber Monday. And I mean, with like the Amazons of the world, obviously they have their own Prime Day, but things are half off. So many of these companies, they really lean into these things and try and make the most of the pre-Christmas rush.
Yep. Yep. That's right. Yeah. I was reading up on some of the economics, and they said last year in 2024, the retailers, even though I don't believe they're colluding, they all try and carve out their own space. So Target had Nintendo consoles at like a 40% discount, which was slightly more than Amazon had the same consoles at a discount. So they kind of were looking for their own space. So then Amazon moved into the Beats headphone category,
Mm.
where they had 45% discounts, and then Walmart focused on Bose, where they had like 25% discounts. So they're all
Yeah, I didn't.
carving out their own area to find their loss leader.
Yeah, I saw Walmart because of the one thing I was looking at, right? The AirPods. I saw
Yep.
Walmart actually had like the lowest, but then they ran out so quickly, right? It's just one of those things. But then I think they
Yep.
still continue with the ad. So it's like a different way of entering the store. They continue with the ad online that says it's
That's
less
right.
expensive than the others,
Yep.
that they're probably still paying for clicks, that then you end up going to the website and purchasing on the website. It's just a different entrance to the store that they've,
Yeah.
since 2005, over the past 20 years mastered, because I think early on when they started the Cyber Monday, they had no idea how they were going to still maintain those whatever margins they were getting, but they figured
Yeah.
it out, a different entrance.
Yeah, they absolutely did. And the dirty little secret why I'm so proud that you decided not to buy those headphones on Black Friday is that the deals that are made on Black Friday have been statistically shown and academically verified not to be the lowest prices of the year. Within a
Mm.
12-month span prior to Black Friday, they've found prices significantly lower than they're listed on Black Friday. And most retailers try to fool you by anchoring you to a higher price in the month of November as you get closer, so then they can show a huge, deep, steep discount down. And not only that, oftentimes, they work very closely with vendors. Vendors are in on this too. So it's not just the retailer that gives all the price discount. The vendor usually makes some pricing concessions for volume, but the vendor will oftentimes come up with a less expensive version of the same product, kind of like the mattress, the famous mattress that you read about. This is on sale. Well, it's not the same mattress as that mattress, but it's true too of, say, like a large screen television or earbuds. They will change up the packaging, change up the case, change up the quality of material, change up the electronics inside to make a cheaper product so they can keep their margins. And it's just for that one day only.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would be a completely different SKU, right? Um,
Yes, exactly. It's crazy.
yeah, the Apple did that. The cheapest version, which I wasn't going to get either way, Alan, but they had this one without ANC, right? So you can't like have the noise canceling, and they were like
Yeah.
$70. I was like, what is wrong with these?
Oof.
And then the other ones are
Yeah.
$30 more. Then the better ones are two, whatever, $100 more.
It's all the same guts inside. They just turned it off. That's
I
so
know.
annoying. So if we were hackers, we could figure out how to turn it back on.
Someday
Get
when
in
I
there
feel
with our
like
soldering iron.
that $30 I might just pay. I think that's what they lean into.
Yes. That's crazy. So I did unearth some fun facts here for the finish of our show. We talked about it last week, but unfortunately our last podcast did not record. So we've got the Brown Friday plumbers, not the Black Friday, the Brown Friday, because after Thanksgiving, all the drains are clogged with turkey grease and all the bathrooms overwhelmed by too many guests. So that was kind of a fun thing. Not Black Friday for plumbers, but Brown Friday.
Yeah.
Also, there's this new phenomenon called drunk shopping,
Oh,
and
God.
12% of Black Friday shoppers.
Don't tell me that originated in Philadelphia too.
Yeah, well, no, you know that it's doubled in Philadelphia. But 12% of Black Friday shoppers admit to being drunk while shopping, so they can get into the holiday spirit.
Yeah.
So
I will give Alan one. For you had mentioned about folks or the companies anchoring on a higher price. There's websites out there that you look into this. One's called camelcamel.com. Camel. And you can see it goes to Amazon. It can show what the high, you just put in there's a SKU number and you can see if it's high or low.
There you go.
Camel.com.
How could you forget that website?
I know. Yeah.
So, well, Tommy, great episode. Really fun seeing you again. Good talking to you about Black Friday, Cyber Monday. On behalf of your humble hosts here at Rebuild Procurement Podcast, we are Tommy Finn, the guy who puts the fin in finance, and your OG in procurement. I'm Alan Veek, hoping that you will make this a powerful and productive week in procurement. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Show me, and you won't hear the word rebuild.